Welcome to episode 102 of Uncovering the Corners of the World podcast. I'm your host, Karina Kasmala. Using research and my personal experiences where I actually set foot in some of these places, I'll be describing some of the unknown attractions in both the US and around the world, as well as share some of the hidden landmarks. This week we travel back to the Midwest, specifically to Wisconsin, to explore Crosse and Hayward. We start our trip in Crosse by looking at the city from a bird's eye view. Located at 3020 Grandad Bluff Road in Crosse, Wisconsin, is a city park where the Grandad Bluff is located. The Grandad Bluff is a 600-foot high cliff where you can see the Mississippi River Valley with the three states, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa. While climbing to the bluff, you'll likely come across the statue of Ellen Hickson, who is credited for saving this cliff and the Hickson Forest from a developer who was planning to turn it into a rock quarry. During the 1870s and the 1880s, the city of Crosse was expanding and needed raw materials for buildings and roads. In the early 20th century, stone was extracted from the Grandad Bluff to build the roads, homes, and post office in Crosse. The residents of Crosse wanted to stop further development of the cliff to preserve it because they saw the Grandad Bluff as a city landmark and a tourist attraction. The Grandad Bluff was privately owned by Mrs. Ellis B. Usher, but after meeting with Ellen and Joseph Hickson, Usher agreed to sell the deed to the Grandad Bluff for $15,000. Through a public campaign in 1909, Ellen Hickson donated $12,000, raised $3,000 from the residents of Crosse, and another $2,000 to build a road on top. On December 9, 1909, the Hickson family bought the property from Mrs. Ellis B. Usher, and they owned the Grandad Bluff for some time before it was donated to the city of Crosse. For their generous efforts, there were suggestions to name the near lands Hickson Hill, Hickson Forest, or Hickson Mountain. Next, we drive approximately 4.4 miles to the 1106 3rd Street S in Crosse, Wisconsin, to find the world's largest six-pack. Towering over the G. Heileman brewery plant are 6 54-foot storage tanks with the Heileman's old-style lager logo. In front of the storage tanks is a sign that states that these storage tanks would fill 22,200 barrels of beer, or 688,200 gallons of beer, enough beer to fill 7,340,796 cans. Placed end to end, these cans would run 565 miles and would provide one person a six-pack a day for 3,351 years. These barrels did have makeovers over the years, with once being covered in vinyl with the Crosse lager logo. Across the street from the world's largest six-pack is the G. Heileman City Brewery Brew House, while further down is the statue of King Gambrinus, wearing a purple tunic, blue undershirt, and stockings, while hoisting a golden cup and perching his left leg on top of a golden keg. King Gambrinus is hailed as the King of Beer. One of the myths about the king is that the king traded his soul to forget his lost love and was granted the secret of brewing. Other myths say he was granted the gift of brewing from Egyptian gods. Even though King Gambrinus never existed, he is still considered as the patron of beer, and many breweries use his image on their beers. We travel about 192 miles to Hayward, Wisconsin, a small town where you are bound to run into the same person you met a few hours ago at the local grocery store. Hayward, Wisconsin is best known for its fishing, as there are about 500 lakes in the area. I did talk about one of their attractions, the Shrine to Anglers, on episode 7 titled Wisconsin, 6,000 Bottles of Mustard, Historical Beer, and a Large Fish. Logging also played a prominent role in Hayward's history. In the 1880s and 90s, Hayward was the center of logging. The town was named after Anthony Judson Hayward, who built a sawmill on the Namakegan River in 1882. Since 1960, Hayward became the center of an international timber sports competition. Spectators packed the bleachers and exuberantly shout out a yo-ho to cheer on their favorite athletes during the annual Lumberjack World Championships. Hosted annually in July, the Lumberjack World Championships gathers athletes to test their speed, balance, strength, focus, and timber skills. These athletes compete in timber sports, specifically men's and women's log rolling, chopping, axe throwing, sawing, boom running, and men's speed pole climbing. The competition kicks off with the ceremonial torch lighting, and the games begin. Boom running and log rolling occur on a small area of Lake Hayward. In boom running, a bridge of logs are chained together from one dock to the other. Two competitors run across the spinning logs, circle a barrel at the end of the dock, and run back across the logs. The competitor has to touch each log, and if they slip, they have to get back on the course. In log rolling, two competitors compete or try to outdo each other to see who can steady themselves the longest while rolling on a floating log. If both competitors are still standing after surpassing the time limit, they are given a smaller log. Right next to one of the bleachers are cedar spar poles. Two competitors scale 60 and 90 feet to see who has the fastest climbing time. While climbing, they have to touch the marks that are along the poles, and they have to scale back down to the platform. The sawing competitions are separated into Jack and Jill double buck saw, which is a man and woman team, Jill and Jill double buck saw, a two-woman team, men's double buck saw, men's single buck saw, and women's single buck saw. The Lumberjack World Championships originally began at Historyland, a historical theme park that no longer exists. In 2025, the Lumberjack World Championship held its 65th competition from July 17th through the 19th, with more than 100 athletes representing 16 states from the United States and 7 countries: Canada, Australia, the Czech Republic, Spain, and Wales. The 66th competition is expected to be held July 16th through the 18th, 2026. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. If you want to read more about the Grandad Bluff, visit the website archives.lacrosselibrary.org, the website hmdb.org, and the website explorelacrosse.com. If you are curious about the world's largest six-pack, read the article "Lacrosse's famed world largest six-pack is back, as old-style brewing returns to God's country" by Boyd Huppert on KRE11.com. And the website wi101.wisc.edu to learn about King Gambrinus' statue. To learn more about Hayward, check out the website britannica.com. And lastly, to learn more about the Lumberjack World Championships, check out the official Lumberjack World Championships website and the article "How Did the Lumberjack World Championships End Up in Northern Wisconsin?" by Mayan Silver on WUXM 89.7 Milwaukee's NPR. Have a great week.